What's up, everyone? Thank you so much for checking out this video here on Show Style and Spirit. I am Ebony, of course. Thank you in advance to everyone that may be joining me during this live today. I really appreciate your support. And for those who will be catching out the replay, thank you for checking out the replay and hello to you. I hope you've been having a great weekend. As you can see from the title of this video, we're going to talk for a few minutes regarding the recent fight in Montgomery, Alabama at a boat dock. And then, of course, we're going to do the recap mashup between the Bell Collective, and Love and Marriage Detroit. Now, before we jump in, I ask that you please hit the like button on this video. Of course, if you hear me say it all the time, as well as other content creators, it causes YouTube to recommend this video to more people who also watch shows on the OWN network or Bravo. And of course, I offer a variety of topics here on Show Style and Spirit. I talk about reality TV, celebrity news and gossip. So you definitely got a nice little potpourri over here. Thank you so much for being here, Sheila. I really appreciate it. Yes, and so please hit the like button and subscribe if you have not already done so. So let's go ahead and jump right on in, y'all. Now, you may have already heard about the fight in Montgomery, Alabama at a dock. It was several white people versus one black man. And that one black man was a dock worker. Now, the issue was there was a pontoon boat parked where the river boats needed to dock, I should say, not park. And so the dock worker, I believe, was trying to tell the white people, you can't dock your pontoon boat there because the river boat has to be able to go there. And they actually started swinging on him and fighting. So y'all, it's very infuriating. I'm going to go ahead and let you all watch this video. This comes from the Montgomery Advertiser. It is an online publication, as you can see. And one of its journalists, Josh Moon, he actually posted this video. You can hear in the audio where the black people are saying, someone help him. And a black man is going to jump off of the riverboat into the water and swim to the dock to help the one black man fight. So let's jump right on in.
That boy swimming his ass over there. God damn! That boy finna help that boy. Get up there, young boy. Get up there, young boy. Get up there, young boy. Shit, they tore his ass up. They tore his ass up. He got action, brother. He ain't finna do nothing.
All right, so as you could see, you saw the one black man who was the dock worker discussing the pontoon boat that was docked where the huge river boat should dock. They got into it. The white man swung on the dock worker. He threw his hat up in the air, and then it was on from there. But then multiple white people jump into the fight. And there's a lady on the riverboat screaming, y'all help him. And a couple of men, they come down the ramp to help him fight. And another black man swam in the water. And then once the white people saw that he had some assistance, then they all dispersed. So police, of course, are definitely involved. So it's definitely under investigation. And I wanted to make sure that you all were aware. And again, this is from the Montgomery Advertiser. I'm going to post the link so that you all can check that out. If you just simply Google Montgomery, Alabama riverboat fight, you'll see all sorts of links, including the Daily Mail. The Daily Mail has so many advertisements on its website that it just crashes. So I got this from the Montgomery Advertiser. So y'all, let's go ahead and jump right on in regards to the bells, honey. I think I'm going to I'm starting off with Love and Marriage Detroit. And then we're going to segue into Bell Collective. So a lot went down here in the D, okay? And episode 7 actually opens up with Colby and Christina. They're meeting, they've met back up at the end of episode 6. That's where that episode ended. And they are, I know it makes you so mad, Sheila, to see that black man getting jumped. They're going to probably try and cover, and people are going to be caping for them, but that's that entitlement. Those were male Karens who were mad that they got checked by a black dock worker saying you can't dock your pontoon boat here. That's for the river boats. So they are literally trying to treat us like we're back in Jim Crow, and we're not. So yeah, but here with Colby and Christina, they actually meet up. And Colby is really, really pissed about, Brandon making the comment calling her Colby Cat at the skating rink. Christina is trying to tell Colby, look, that was all Brandon, that wasn't me. The way she said it was, Brandon, those were his words. He has his own brain, he has his own mind, and that was his opinion. That had nothing to do with me. Colby wasn't really believing her in this scene. However, we know that now the Love and Marriage Detroit reunion has already been filmed. I follow a few of them on Instagram, and Colby went live a couple weeks ago and said that. She and Russell were actually on the road back home from Atlanta. And she said, we just filmed the reunion. So I know that OWN would have sent them the episodes that hadn't aired yet so that they kind of knew where they stood at the reunion. So Colby knows by now that Christina never really agreed that Colby copies her content off of hers. And she knows that it came from Brandon. But in this scene, she was not believing her. Colby was definitely very, very upset, very high sprung. And Christina was able to calm her down, and they ended up apologizing to each other and hugging. But Christina did shade Colby in her confessional. She actually shaded Colby's youth. She said, I get it. Colby is a lot younger than me. So these types of things are going to happen. I was like, oh my gosh. Usually, like if you've ever watched like Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, those younger girls would love to come for Carly Red being older than them, at least 10 years older, 10, 15 years older. And so like this was in the reverse. Christina shaded Colby's youth to explain her behavior. So I thought that was a first. That was very, very interesting. And, usually if you're going to shade someone's youth, you're calling them like a kid, childish, a brat. But Christina didn't go there. She just said these sorts of things will happen. It's like a classy read, I must say. So then we see where Anthony, oh my gosh, he is one of the messiest people I have ever seen on TV. And I thought Peter Thomas was messy, but I think Anthony's got Peter Thomas beat. What do y'all think? So Anthony actually is directing a photo shoot for a clothing designer, and LaToya meets him there. Now they're actually matching, both wearing white shirts and jeans. I assume that was definitely on purpose. Y'all, from episode 1, I thought that I would connect the most with LaToya, but I have been proven wrong. I connect with Dr. LaToya the least. I actually feel like the way Colby processes things is like the most to myself. And then, second place, I would say Christina. But Dr. LaToya I actually relate to the least. Number one, she is always saying how she does not like drama. She does not do drama. But you are married to one of the most dramatic men that I have ever seen. Oh my gosh. And he starts the drama. And she actually said in a prior episode, like episode 6 or 5, that the common denominator for the drama is Brandon and Christina. No, Dr. LaToya, the common denominator for the drama in the group is your husband. And that's proven. That's like on film. So she tickles me, okay, with the delusion. But anyway, Anthony updates Dr. Latoya saying that Brandon lied about not knowing their publicist Brittany. And pretty much, they all they do is discuss Brandon and Christina in their scenes. So that's what we're getting on that. And we all know what that reminds us of. The haters always discussing Melody in their scenes on Love and Marriage Huntsville. So then Latoya also says in this scene that she's going to plan a couples trip for a weekend in Traverse City. Now, for those of you who may not know, Traverse City is a city a few hours north of Detroit, and it is a place that people like to go to for a couple days, a few days. There's like a casino up there. I believe the beaches are up there. That's not the beach that I go kick it at, but there are like cute, quaint things to do. And then there's like various farms, like the cherry produce that's up there. They make cherry barbecue sauce, but all those things you can buy down here in Metro Detroit, like at the apple orchards. But yeah, Traverse City is really cute, and people do love to go there for a couple days. So then we see where Brandon and Christina, they have a date night. Now, before I get into the details of the date night, I do want to point out their confessional looks. So Brandon is wearing kind of like a almost soft pink, like a mauve silk shirt with like some burgundy pants. What do y'all think about that? I mean, it was like, okay, I guess, giving like a disco, like at a disco club maybe. Now, I liked Christina's confessional dress. I thought it was very different. It was like an ivory colored dress with like gold, like a gold pattern on top. I really love the puffy sleeves. And it was giving almost like an Asian inspired dress with the puffy sleeves. And then, of course, I love the bob. You can never go wrong with the sleek bob. So I just thought this confessional look was definitely cute, definitely different. You don't see that often. Let me know what you all thought about Christina's confessional look. So she and Brandon said that they hadn't had a date night in a while, so they wanted to go out and reconnect. Now, there were some things that I wanted to note. So, when it comes to holes in their relationship, things that are not perfect, I noticed that Christina loves to say that the issues in their marriage are because of Brandon, and Brandon has issues because of the way that he was raised. So she likes to, blame the woman, blame the Black woman, I guess. She basically, she doesn't use the word passive, but she says that Brandon's mom never pretty much checked him on anything, never corrected him or said anything to him. So by him being married to Christina, he's not used to a woman being so assertive, aggressive, and vocal. Maybe not aggressive, let me not say that because that triggers some people, but being assertive and vocal. She's saying that Brandon isn't used to that. And so I kind of feel like that's almost like a deflection because no human being is perfect. So it can't all be on Brandon. It cannot all be on Brandon. There has to be some sort of accountability that Christina should take for the holes, for the issues in her marriage. Now, of course, this is just season one, so I don't know what all of her responsibility is, but at least at this point, it definitely sounds like she likes to shift the blame and blame her mother-in-law. And that just seems, that's really ballsy, number one, to talk about a man's mama to his face, especially a Black man. But I just found that interesting. She kind of went all the way around the mulberry bush, all the way to blaming the mother-in-law. And then Brandon, in his confessional, he's like almost agreeing with her and saying how, yeah, I think I need to work on my childhood issues and my issues with my mom to be the husband that I need to be to Christina. I was almost like, oh my gosh, Brandon, are you for real? A part of me thinks like, is he playing along to let Christina think that she's like in charge and running him? Is all that cap? Or is he really that down on himself and that easygoing? I kind of am leaning slightly more towards him being a little more easygoing. I have a feeling that Christina is the primary breadwinner and her social media influence money is higher than his music producing money. And she may point that out. I don't know. I mean, we see her blaming her mother-in-law for the issues in her marriage. So he could possibly feel a little down on himself. But then Brandon, while they're at the restaurant talking, he says, "Excuse me, everyone, excuse me. This is my wife, and we've been married for 11 years, and we're going to be together forever, and I love her." And everyone was clapping, and then they kissed. And I think that Christina was definitely digging that. It was like a scene from a Julia Roberts movie. So kudos to you, Brandon. I know that you saved the day with that one. But it was just odd the way that Christina was coming at him. Now, she also says to Brandon in this scene, you know, I've changed. I've changed a lot since we got married when I was 29 years old. And now I'm 40. You know, I'm different now. And you need to learn what's different about me. And Brandon goes, well, do you know me? Now, I was expecting Christina to say, of course I know you. Yes, why wouldn't I know you? She actually paused, and Christina's like, well, I mean, yeah, because I pray about you. I pray about you all the time, and you're God's son. So I pray to God, and God knows you. So yeah, I know you. That was a very bizarre response, y'all. Number one, Brandon asked her a closed-ended question. Do you know me? So the answer would either be yes or no, closed-ended. She actually said, well, yeah, because I pray to God about you and God knows you. That's weird. But we also know that Brandon and Christina got married very quickly. Didn't they meet on Twitter? They got engaged after 6 months and then they got married after that. So, they didn't give it a couple of years of dating to see if like a psycho side comes out or anything. So to me, they're like in the danger zone. For him to ask his wife, do you know me? And she said, well, God knows you. That's different. For those catching the replay, please let me know in the comments what you thought about this scene. So let's move right along. So then we see Anthony meeting with his friend who is a songwriter, singer, and producer, Lyrique. He spells it almost like the word lyric, Lyriq, Lyrique. So I believe they went to school together. They've known each other a very long time. And Anthony is asking Lyrique to actually host or judge the showcase, the upcoming showcase, where they're going to be showing some of their artists, some of Anthony's artists, their friend Bravo and Brandon's. We all know that Brandon has been feeling left out of the planning for the showcase. Brandon felt like it was his showcase, and now it no longer is. But this doesn't surprise me with each episode. I just find Brandon to be more timid than assertive. So I could totally see people taking over his brainchild, his idea, his showcase. But let's see. What's up, Uppity? Thank you so much for being here. Please subscribe to Uppity's channel if you have not already done so. Very intelligent sister. I love that you caught this because her response to him was weird. Okay, so it was not just me. I'm like, someone asks you, do you know them? You say yes or no. And I would hope it's a yes when it's your spouse. But she paused and said, God knows you? That's crazy to me. So we're on the same page, Uppity. So in this scene, Anthony asked, Lyrique, I want you to judge at the showcase and I want you to give each musical artist a critique. And Lyrique says, oh, of course, yes, I would absolutely love to do that. I did that with other artists down south. I believe he mentioned it was like two of them. It was like T.I. and someone else. So I was like, okay. Now, of course, like in true fashion, Anthony brings up Brandon and Christina. So we have another scene where Anthony's storyline is Brandon and Christina. And I hope that those two said that at the reunion, okay? So Anthony brings up Brandon and says, yeah, it's going to be some of my artists, some of Bravo's artists, and your friend, Brandon. And then Lyrique goes, well, I feel like with Brandon, his Star Factory record label, it didn't really pop because, he kind of slept on the artist that he's sleeping with, Christina. He was like, did you know Christina can sing? Anthony was like, I heard that, but I've never heard her sing. So Lyrique starts playing a song that he produced. And it was giving crush, like he had a crush on Christina. He's playing the song, and Lyrique is actually lip syncing her words. She says, like we had a bad argument, and he's just like lip syncing. And I was like, how often do you play this record, bruh? Now, don't get me wrong, I got some of my favorite songs, some of my favorite Whitney Houston, Destiny's Child, Tevin Campbell, Usher, you name it. I play some of my favorite songs over and over too, but this was just giving like you had a crush on her. And he said, that's why his record label ain't never popped, because he didn't really sign his wife. And then he says to Anthony, and if Christina had a made it as a singer, she wouldn't have never met Brandon. And Anthony laughed, and Lyrique goes, I'm serious, because she would have been on tours and she would have never met him. So it's definitely giving that at one point Lyrique wanted to holler at Christina. I'm guessing she didn't feel the same. She just wanted to keep it professional. And then she met Brandon. And then, her life went in another direction, including a husband and kids and social media influence. But this guy, this edition, this just really adds a spin, a twist in the plot. Okay, the plot thickens. Because this guy, he definitely seems like he is crushing on Christina, and then says that it's weird that Brandon doesn't produce his wife. I also think that's kind of strange, unless we're going to learn that Christina never really wanted to sing professionally. Maybe she didn't want to have to tour, year after year. Maybe she really wasn't into singing. So we're going to have to find out in the next episode when Anthony talks to Brandon about what Lyrique said. And then we're going to have to get Christina's response as to why Brandon never produced her. She never released any singles. So then we see where these two ladies, they're on their way to a brunch that Christina is hosting. It is called the Shut Up and Pray Brunch. Now, in some episodes back, Christina did briefly use this phrase. And it was something that she said she had to learn when it came to her marriage, to just shut up and pray. And she said that things in her marriage did progressively get better the more time that she spent in prayer. So she's hosting this brunch. And when in the very beginning of this episode, when she and Colby were speaking outside in downtown Detroit, she invited her to the brunch. So their meeting did really end on a good note. So she also called Latoya and invited her. And we see that Colby is telling Latoya that Christina called Russell and said that Anthony told the publicist Brittany. The publicist Brittany is someone that Christina wants to work with. Anthony told Brittany, maybe you shouldn't really work with Christina and Brandon because Brandon doesn't like you. And the publicist took that back to Christina. Christina denied it. She said, I don't know anything about my husband not liking you. We've never had that discussion. And then Colby is telling Latoya. Latoya is instantly offended, saying that Christina is now lying on her husband. Latoya, have you and your husband met? It tickles me how you really try to act like people are lying on Anthony, like he's never dramatic, never messy. I hope that Carlos asked you a question about this at the reunion, because now you're looking completely foolish and delusional, like you don't know your husband or you're in denial about how he talks to women and how messy he is. Now, I know the StreamYard logo is probably blocking my screenshot of Colby's confessional look, but she's wearing kind of like a soft green, like crushed velour dress. And I thought it was nice too. Colby dresses really nice. It almost ages her just a smidge. She doesn't look old, but some of her outfits, it gives her like a maturity and a sophistication that might translate where it might translate a few years older. But he says, I believe Brandon actually said that about not liking the publicist. In my last review last week, I felt so too. I felt like if he said it, I was like, either at one point he may have flirted with the publicist and she rejected him, or he tried to work with the publicist, Brittany, and after she sent him her rates, he probably asked her, could she come down on it? She said no, and he didn't like that. I was guessing it was one of those reasons as to why he wouldn't like her. When Anthony put Brandon on the spot, he defended himself like a liar does. Oh, yes, because he was like, well, first of all, I didn't even know she was your publicist. And Anthony said, oh, you really lying now? And we can pull out a lie detector test. You're right. He was very defensive. And for some reason, that's why I think like Brandon is so timid. I think like he kind of lacks belief in himself because it's hard for him to say, yeah, I said that. And then when it comes to Russell and how he called Kobe a Kobe cat, he was just like, I ain't gonna mess with her because I don't want Russell hurting me. And he apologized to him for sure. What's up? Oh, Rue, I'm so glad you're here and that you caught this live. Thank you for being here. I hope you've had a great weekend. So now, Kobe got Latoya kind of turned up, and we're going to see how that goes when she and Christina talks about it. So then we are here at the brunch. So I wanted to show y'all some shots. We have the wide shot at the top. I thought it was a pretty venue and her having like the white cloth tablecloths, and the centerpieces were huge floral centerpieces that were mostly white and then like spots of like fuchsia flowers. And her balloons on the stage were fuchsia, white, and gold. And there were gold and white chairs that I'm guessing her host, Christina, and like the keynote speaker could sit on. But I thought it was a beautiful venue. They definitely had brunch food. It looked like it was like chicken, maybe chicken and waffles. Everyone looked beautiful. And I have down at the bottom one of Christina's confessional looks. You may have seen it for the past couple of episodes. It looks like it's all leather, and it's like a leather corset or bustier with like black leather shorts. She's wearing some nylons and like a black leather puffy jacket. I thought it's like cute, and it's almost giving like a 90s music video, like she'd be one of the dancers, but I thought it was cute. And then in the top right corner, we have Dr. Latoya. She's wearing like a white suit. It looks like it has like those fluttery sleeves, no shade. Like I've seen the deaconess at church wear those suits with like those fluttery sleeves, and that's just what came to mind. But I did like Christina's floral outfit in the lower right corner. It was a pantsuit. The main color was like white, and it was like a floral print. And then the top was like that lapel where it's like, kind of like flowy, and then it kind of hangs like almost not like a tail, but it's like a lapel. It's super duper cute. I thought she looked great. And then at the brunch, Dr. Latoya was wearing like a green suit, and Kobe was wearing like a white pretty blouse and white pants. So yeah, I thought everyone looked great. And they had like a keynote speaker. So, okay, we're going to get into this confrontation in a minute. So let me go back. So the keynote speaker, she talked about, her name was Chrislyn McNair, and she talked about not letting everyone in. And I agree with this. And also, I don't know if the lady was a minister, so to speak, because you never really hear like ministers say, they'll say you can't let everybody pray for you, but they don't really say like, don't let everyone in. Don't let everyone experience your positive energy, especially if they got negative energy. Then you have to reset and recharge after encountering them. So I felt like the speaker, she was like on time with what she had to say. And I just wanted to also mention that. So then we see the confrontation. So that's Brittany in like the more lime green suit. I got a snippet of her. And then we have Latoya and Christina talking. Now, I will say at least Latoya, I guess she doesn't want to let things fester. She actually confronted Christina about it at her event. Not so cool. But she did wait what sounds like to the end after everyone ate and they heard the speaker. Christina was able to introduce the speaker and pray for everyone and thank them for coming without feeling pissed because Latoya had walked up on her. So Latoya did look like she waited until towards the end of the event to bring it up. And she says, Kobe tells me on the way here that you're saying that my husband told the publicist Brittany that Brandon doesn't like her. And I know my husband wouldn't say that. How do you know, Latoya? You just learned this information. You haven't had a chance to discuss it with Anthony to find out that he did say it and he's messy AF. Why are you defending a grown man's messiness? And then Christina was like, well, what you're not going to do is confront me at my event about this. And she said, well, he did say that according to Brittany. And Latoya's like, you're lying. And you have a conniving way of bringing things up. Really conniving, a con? When it's all on film, the husband did say it. And, like Uppity said, she believes Brandon did actually say it. But where did Christina lie? The publicist Brittany told her that Anthony said it. She gave her the source. So I don't know why Latoya is getting so turned up. And then she says to Christina, and we can hold Brittany to task. And I'm like, okay. And I noticed when they first started talking about it, Christina's like, well, yeah, I had a meeting with Brittany. And Latoya's like, my publicist. Like, okay, well, you don't have her retained to where she's not working with anyone else, Dr. Latoya. She's going to represent tons of people, darling. But they were going back and forth. And Latoya, I wanted to make sure that I took notes. Dr. Latoya said she has earned her doctorate, in physical therapy, studying how people move. And she said that she does not like how Christina moves. She said, because you didn't call Kobe when you didn't want to do the collaboration with her. And Christina says, and what does that have to do with you? Very good question, Christina. That is the $1 million question. Dr. Latoya, if you're going to check somebody, how do you check her about something, a situation that doesn't involve you? And really low key, the situation between the publicist, Brandon, and Anthony and Christina, it don't even really involve you like that. And while I'm on that, Christina, I don't know why you called Kobe's husband Russell, because it didn't involve him either, okay? But Dr. Latoya, it amazes me how she capes for him. Now, Christina used Latoya's words and her degree against her, baby. This was like one thing about Christina, when she shades people, she's calm, she's even keeled, she's collected, and she just very softly says something, and it's like, oh. She actually says to Latoya, you often say things that you don't know what you're talking about. Your degree got you that, girl. And then Latoya was offended. She was like, don't say anything about, I have earned my degree and I have done this and I've studied for 8 years earning my degree. She got under Latoya's skin when she said that. So the read was fierce. And in the beginning, like I said in episode 1, I thought that I would connect the most with Dr. Latoya, but no, not at all. Christina didn't want to share Harbore with Colby, but wants to share Latoya's publicist. She didn't want to share Harper Ray with Colby, but wants to share Latoya's publicist. It's okay, but with the way Christina acted with Colby, makes it seem hypocritical. Oh, very good point. I see where you're coming from. Now, with the collaboration, though, I do feel like, Christina, it appears that she secured that collaboration first. So I could see if she did not want to bring Colby in on it. Now, with the publicist, I'm sure there's other publicists in the Metro Detroit area that Christina could work with. She said that Brittany is very good and has Detroit on lock. Lots of people go to her for representation. And I think that it would be expected for the publicist Brittany to have more clients. So I see your point that in the matter of not wanting to share, it's hypocritical. But then Christina's going to have this defense. Well, the publicist can work with whoever she wants, and she already has multiple clients, and one of her clients knows Latoya, yada, yada, yada. But for her individually amongst this group, I see what you're saying, Uppity, that it's definitely hypocritical. But I just found that to be so interesting. I just cannot connect with Latoya, especially because of how she makes excuses for her husband. So then in the next episode next week, we're going to see where the couples go up to Traverse City. They're going to be talking about the publicist Brittany again, and Anthony wants them to call her to get the 411. So we're going to see how that happens. And then Christina even says to Brandon, well, we got to have uncomfortable conversations. And I'm just starting to think, I wonder, does she manipulate Brandon? We're going to have to see. I don't even know. I have to see how many episodes are left. I don't know if they're just going out 2 months or 3 months before we get to the reunion. But I am enjoying Love and Marriage Detroit season 1 better than I did Love and Marriage DC season 1. You all give me your thoughts on that comparison. So then let's go ahead and get into Belle Collective. So the episode opens up with So Gucci meeting with her daughter Dee. Now, if you watched my Belle Collective review last week, you know that I also streamed Dee's Instagram Live. She said that she would try to go live after every episode because she was like, I got to explain some things to y'all. Y'all ain't getting it, you know? Like, she's thinking about some of the tweets that she sees. And she's like, you know, and Selena and her daughters got all these fans and y'all just don't know. So I'm going to go live. She didn't go live this weekend, but hopefully she will next week. So Gucci is letting Dee know that she decided to press charges against Selena for their altercation at one of Latrice's events. And so Gucci tells Dee that Sanjay called she and JJ's house and talked to JJ and said, so, you know, Shantae filed charges against Selena. And so Gucci said, JJ was like, yeah. And Dee is like, did they really expect you not to do anything? You know, and then they act like they want to get mad at you, or I want a piece of their mama for what she did to you. Now, if you watch Dee's IG Live, you know that she's only cool with Star. She said, you know, Sky act just like Sanjay. She said that Selena has always been nice to her, though. She said that Selena is a nice lady. And it just sounds like Dee just really doesn't care for Sky and Sanjay. She said, like, I'll never do family vacations. I just cannot be fake and be around them that long. Dee's IG Live was very good. She's very open and definitely expresses her feelings clearly. She also said in this scene that she and the father of her baby, who's adorable, Zayd, Dee and Zayd are on a break right now. I think that's to be expected. You know, relationships are already tough, and then they're so young, and then, you know, add a baby to the mix. So I actually wasn't surprised to hear that they were on a break. And so Gucci told her, you know, I just want you to remain focused. You know, it sounds like Dee is trying to become a realtor, get a real estate license. So she said, I just want you to focus. I think So Gucci was trying to make sure that Dee doesn't feel so bad over like a heartbreak or a loss of a boyfriend that she loses focus. But I don't think that she'll have that problem. Hello, Margot. Thank you so much for checking us out all the way from Canada. We're just across the river for me, but thank you so much for being here. So, and I also want to go back and say, Dee said something in this scene that she said on her IG Live. She said, you know, she would love to tell like Sanjay and Sky, you know, like my mom neglected me to win you over and your dad, and this is how you treat her. And, you know, so Gucci just sat there. They didn't even show us a confessional moment where she denied neglecting Dee or she felt regret or was sorry. So Gucci didn't say anything to that. And I was like, oh my gosh, did I just hear Dee say that? But Dee has talked about it in her IG Live, saying that my mom did neglect my brother and I because she wanted to win over JJ and his daughters. And I think that is super sad. I get that you want companionship, you want a man, you want the D, but you got your daughter saying that you neglected her. That's not anything to be proud of. And I'm sure she's not, but dang. So then we see where Latrice and Akeisha, they meet up together at Break It, which is where all the ladies went, where they could like break stuff like old fax machines, old printers to like let out some aggression. So the two of them went back there, but they were painting. And they were talking and, you know, they were recapping how they had like a couple's dinner. And then Akeisha goes, you know, Latrice, I'm concerned about you. And Latrice is like, why? She said, you know, just because I don't know if like everything is going okay at home. Latrice is like, no, I'm fine. And she's like, well, if you ever want to talk, you know, I'm here. And I'm not saying that, you know, I know everything and my marriage and life is perfect, but I'm here. So I have to say, like with Akeisha, I thought this was cool. I felt like this was a sincere intervention because it was just the two of them. She didn't do it in front of everybody. She took her to Break It, but they were painting. It was like a very relaxed environment. I felt like Akeisha's tone of voice was good. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't aggressive. She wasn't saying, and your husband controls you, and it's just looking crazy out here. He embarrassing you, girl. And how you gonna put up with that? She didn't do any of that. She said, I'm concerned about you. She said, you're in my spirit all the time. Have y'all ever had someone on your mind? And you're like, what am I thinking about them? You may stop and pray even, or you may text them or DM them on social media. Like, hey girl, I was just thinking about you. I hope everything's all right. That has happened to me before. One of my friends, one of her friends thought of me, and it was the day that my mom had passed away. I'll never forget when Philip said, I don't know what's going on with you, Ebony, and then he typed out a prayer and she was gone. And when I had the chance, I was like, oh my gosh, well, this is why you were led to pray. Like sometimes it'd be like that. And, and I've had people that I'm like carrying with me, like, let me stop and let me check on them. And sometimes they'll be all right. Or, that may be all they share with you, but that's just how it is. And maybe we're just asked to be obedient to that so that you continue to pray for others. I think it's just like a spiritual thing. You know what I'm saying? And it just helps you stop and think about someone else. Like, I wonder, are they all right? So that was what I took when Akeisha said that. She said, I carry you she said, you be in my spirit, but Latrice said that it was all good in the hood. But we're going to circle back to that because Akeisha ain't going to be the only one that says something to her. Yes, yikes about So Gucci allegedly neglecting D for JJ and the kids. Yes. So then in this next scene, we see where Letitia and So Gucci meet up. They meet up at a park, like a nature preserve, and they're going on a walk. And Letitia actually gets the smoothies this time, not a So Gucci. She gets her a green smoothie, but Letitia's is pink. And So Gucci, just like a fitness trainer, she's like, why is mine green and yours is pink? She's like, girl, don't worry about it. I'm hoping that she got like a strawberry banana smoothie, but yeah, totally different color. And Letitia says in her confessional, why would I drink something that's green? It tastes like nothing. No, So Gucci, I don't think so. So I thought it was really cute. So they're talking and Letitia is saying how she's like having a brunch, and they recapped when they went to one of Akeisha's events, which was one of her family's properties. And she had it set up like if you've ever gone to like an African-American museum and there's the different pillars with the the posters where you can read about something and what someone invented. And so they were talking about that, and they said how Latrice did not keep Cliff there long. Cliff said something out of the way to Letitia, and then Latrice just immediately exited him out. And Letitia said here, she said, I think he had been out with society for a couple of hours, and Latrice knew she had to put him up like he's a dog or something. And so Gucci said, yeah, she didn't want him to embarrass her. So it's like they already know what time it is, but I think they want to help Latrice start to admit it. And I actually feel like these women are being sincere when it comes to Latrice. It is not just for drama on camera. I think they want to help Latrice get to the breakthrough, the revelation that perhaps this marriage is not meant to be. What do y'all think? Do y'all think these interventions are sincere? Because Letitia tells So Gucci, I'm going to talk with her it's actually at So Gucci's upcoming event. So Gucci says in this scene that every year her and JJ they partner with a nonprofit called Clothing for America. And each year they go to a location where people pull up, they say their sizes, and they hand them clothes. She said each year is something different. One year is pajamas, another year is t-shirts. So it always warms my heart, like when I hear about, philanthropic events. So I think that that's nice that they get involved with it. And then Letitia says at that event, I'm going to have a one-on-one talk with Latrice. And I thought that was sweet. So, Uppity, you feel like that too? Definitely sincere. Me too. I feel like they're just wondering what in the world is going on up in that house. And then we're going to learn a couple things about their marriage in the present moment, at least around this time. So then we spoke them up. We see Latrice and Cliff. They're meeting at a Mexican restaurant. Latrice already knows her husband, y'all, so she knows that he is going to trip. So she has actually already signed a contract to work with the distributor to get her edge control in stores all over the United States. Latrice is proud of herself, as she should be. She says, so, first vending machines and now stores. She said that she wanted her husband Cliff to see her as his equal. We know that in previous episodes, they went out to dinner and she said, I want equality. And he said, no, Latrice. I think that's crazy to me. I get that you want to make sure that you're no, I can't even say I get. For whatever reason, men are so hung up on, they want to be the head of the house. They want to be the head of the house. I think with this Negro, it is a little bit more unique because he's old enough to be her dad. And that adds on a layer of insecurity. She's actually going to talk about his insecurity with Letitia. And I'm going to have an opinion on that, on her knowledge of these ill things about him. Why the heck would you marry him? But we're going to get there. So anyway, Latrice tells him at dinner, they ordered drinks. She ordered like a Hennessy margarita. Cliff ordered a Patron margarita. Yeah. So I got Patron right here, y'all. But anyway, so she sits down, she tells him, I just signed a contract, and immediately his energy shifts. He is immediately pissed, immediately checked out, and there's nothing that Latrice can say to bring him back to earth, okay? She goes, and my edge control will be in stores all over. And he was like, when did you sign this contract? She goes, 2 weeks ago. She can't even look him in the eye when she says 2 weeks ago. And he's pissed. He's immediately negative, saying, yeah, what did I tell you? You run it by me. You get my consent. She has to get your consent to sign a contract, bruh. She's not your kid. He totally looks at Latrice as a kid. But do you F your kids? No. So he's totally off in how he sees her and views his marriage. Way off. Okay. So then he says, don't say nothing when the contract is bad and you fall on your A. He's trying to say that it's going to be bad. She's made a huge mistake. He's trying to plant fear in Latrice because she did something on her own. And I can't stand that when that's manipulation and that's him trying to control her. And I'm guessing that at one point when they were dating and first got married, he may have been able to run her mind that way. But I think she's like slowly breaking out of it, which is a blessing. However long it takes, as long as she gets there. And I think Latrice is getting there. We have to see. He got up from that table and didn't pay for nothing. I know that's right. He sure didn't. He didn't put no money on the table, not even for his drink. You're right. She said, check, please. Because I noticed like the irony or like the sarcasm when she said, I guess he was a little late. And he's like, I was working. And she was like, oh, you bringing in the money? You paying the bills? It was almost like he's not. So I don't know if he's retired and he's collecting a pension, or if he is working, but they keep their money separate. I don't know if perhaps now he won't give her half on the mortgage, utilities, groceries now, if he's like mad at her. It's almost like sarcastic when she said that. I'm crazy happy for Latrice and her edge control. Cliff is toxic, 100%. And so I feel like in the beginning when they were dating, she probably let him get away with a lot of the bull, which is why he was interested in marrying her. That coupled with the fact that he saw that she has money coming in, owning a hair salon as well as a hairline. They always want you when they see you got a steady job, a steady paycheck. Okay. But I think she let him get away with a lot of the BS. So she ran after him. She paid the check, ran after him outside. Please let's end this on a good note. I'm saying bad note, good note, because she said, if it was me and you did that, I would have been pissed. But Latrice, you don't ever have to worry about Cliff signing a contract for a distribution deal. He ain't got nothing like that going on. This is season 3 of Bill Collective. I ain't never heard Cliff talk about a business that he owns or a business venture that he's trying to launch. Which is fine. If he's a W-2 worker, I'm a W-2 worker. That's totally fine. But you don't have to act like you've done this huge sin. And if he was to do it, because I don't think he's in a position where he would sign a distribution deal and then tell you about it later. So you don't have to worry about that. So then we see where Letitia actually communicates with local media, asking them to come out to her office, her enterprises, which I remember from the season 2 reunion, she said she does rental property management. And then we know she does the brunches, which is like business networking, I guess. Well, whatever. So the local news reporter comes out and asks her, people throw brunches all the time. Why should we come to your brunch? And then Letitia says, I encourage people, business networking, yada, yada. So then Marie walks up, and even Marie asked her, why was the local media here? And Letitia told her whatever. But then they are talking and it gets heated. So Letitia wanted to ask Marie, I think Letitia wanted to ask her on camera to have a receipt, but she asked her to be a panelist for the brunch. She said, you're very successful. And then she says, basically letting her know a heads up, I'm also going to ask Latrice to be a panelist. Instantly, Marie gets activated. Instantly, Marie gets pissed and says, no, Letitia. This is why you and we have issues in business. We don't do nothing together in business because that girl tried to come from my business. She tried to, I guess, report Marie. And she said, and you rallied for her and said that wasn't true. And, you owe me an apology because we saw the clip where Essie went to Latrice's hair salon, asked her about it. Did you know some people, I guess, that looked into Marie's business? And did you ask, you wanted all the details? And Latrice said, yeah, I did say that. So then finally, Letitia apologized in this scene, but it was a lot of back and forth because Letitia's point was, why are you mad at me? I didn't send the people to your business. Latrice told me she didn't have nothing to do with it. So I was standing up for her. So I feel a couple of ways about it, y'all. Letitia can't help it, if Latrice lied to her. I think she was being kind and trying to be a friend by standing up for Latrice. And then also there's that time when you don't want to see the bad in someone. You just want to see the good. So you may ignore red flags, That's being human. And I do think that that's what time it was when it came to Latrice and Letitia. But Letitia gave Marie the apology that she needed, and then Marie really couldn't say too much after that. But they did have some stuff to say on Twitter. And at the end of this episode review, we're going to get into the tweets. I do have a couple of those to share. So then we see where Latrice is meeting with her mom to update her on the state of her marriage. They are not at Latrice's house right now, because Latrice at this time was staying with her brother. She said she was not back at her home because she just needed some time. And she said there's nothing like the countryside and some Remy to get you together. I was like, I know that's right, Latrice. So her mom comes and her mom says to her, if Cliff was my husband, I'd F him up. And in previous episodes, Latrice's mom said, Cliff is much closer to my age than he is yours. In this scene, Latrice admits that she feels like she kind of set herself up by calling Cliff Zaddy, because she said, I was taking my childhood trauma of her dad walking out and applying this Zaddy onto Cliff to make her feel secure. And I'm glad that she's had that revelation. It did come off strange when she would call him Zaddy. So I'm glad that she is letting that go. Now, I do feel like she's trying to hold on to a marriage. Like Uppity said, Cliff is toxic. She may be holding on to something that she doesn't need to. If you checked out my review last week, I feel like the biggest draw that she had to Cliff was that she knew his kids were all adults. So she knew he wouldn't be devoting any of his money to child support. And she knew she wouldn't have to deal with any crazy baby mamas. And I think that was her number one reason for getting with him, coupled with, her needing to feel that daddy security. So I think those were her top two reasons, because otherwise, why would she want him? But, she said that she was going to stay about another week with her brother. So it's definitely not looking good. I can't wait to see the reunion. Dee said in her IG Live that they filmed the reunion next week. Because last Friday night she went live. She said we filmed the reunion in 2 weeks. So now this is Sunday. They probably filmed the reunion in just a few days. So I can't wait to find out if Latrice and Cliff are still together. We're also going to see, we saw some scenes where it looks like someone may be pregnant. Out of all of them, it looks like it could only be Latrice unless it was Tambra. But we all know that's a fake storyline. So I'm like, oh my gosh, is Latrice having Cliff's baby? If she is, then they'll be in each other's lives for a very long time, at least 18 years. So we just have to see how that's going to go. So then we see JJ and So Gucci's charity event, and people were pulling up in their cars, saying their size, and Tambra was the runner for a while. Tambra said, by me being a radio personality, I totally do charity events. She said she had to go to work and she could only be there for 30 minutes. Y'all, I am concerned for Tambra on this show. I feel like they are phasing her out. We literally just saw her in this scene. And I don't even have a thought when I don't see Tambra, because aside from this scene, we hadn't seen her in a few episodes. And I don't even have a thought about it. I don't think where's Tambra? And then when I saw her in this episode, I was like, yeah, I haven't seen her. So I think they're phasing her out, and I think they're going to bring in Selena. That's my prediction. But yeah, so they were doing their charity event. Everyone seemed to be in good spirits. It's Christmas time, because they did mention that. And they're in, hats and, sweatshirts. But everyone was in a good vibe. And then we see where Letitia asked Latrice to pull to the side and talk with her. Another example why I think these interventions are sincere. Letitia's point is, we see how Cliff disrespects you in person. So if he's starting to let that come out in person, in public, what is going on in private? So even if he has never physically put his hands on Latrice, my concern is that it may escalate. Because again, this man seems very insecure. He's with a woman who's at least 20 years younger than him. She's beautiful, hardworking, and successful. She does not need his money. And at least right now, at this moment, they don't have a child to keep them together. So I think that he's worried that she'll leave him. Latrice even said it. She said, he's insecure that I'm going to leave him. Well, Latrice, that's not healthy. That's not anything that you just say and you just kind of roll with it. If you know for a fact that your husband is insecure that you'll leave him, that sounds like a dangerous situation, in my opinion. I just wouldn't stay with anyone whom I realized is insecure that I might leave him. Because what could he possibly do to make sure you don't leave him? And I don't know if she's just taking it lightly or if she would be too embarrassed to get a divorce. They say half of marriages in America end in divorce. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. I've got plenty of friends who are divorced. All my siblings are divorced. One of my sisters is twice divorced, and my god sister is twice divorced. So Latrice, don't even worry about it, okay? But I feel like for whatever reason, she is trying to hold on to this guy. And she knows he's insecure, which is crazy to me. And in this scene, Latrice did start to cry. She got emotional. So I think she has to make these connections. But oh my gosh, if she is pregnant with Cliff's baby. So let's get into these tweets. So Marie was tweeting, and then Latrice was responding and tagging Marie. I'm going to start with the bottom and go up. Marie says, she must have some tea on you because you hold everybody in the collective accountable but her, talking about Latrice. I know BS when I smell it, but Letitia says, I am the one that publicly acknowledged the tea that Latrice gave me about the alleged baby. Honey, ain't nobody got nothing on me that I haven't or won't give. So smell whatever the you want to smell. And then Marie says, oh, you knew because you know me. Girl, stop. And Letitia says, no, saying you know isn't an answer. I thought that was dead and gone, but since addressing this here on Twitter, what's good? So Marie just stays mad when it comes to Latrice. And I get it. If Latrice tried to send like inspectors or the state after Marie's business, I know that's not cool. But I feel like I don't have the full story. What has Latrice done? That's what it sounds like. Because Marie has like a strong anger towards Latrice. And then I think that she wants people to just be her friend and not Latrice's. And that's high school to me. Like if y'all got mutual friends, don't put that pressure on them to pick sides. And that's where Marie loses me. Now, don't get me wrong. Marie, she has shared so much of her life on Bell Collective, from her mother's addiction to her looking for her mother in a trap house, and then her sharing with us about the mother of her grandbaby being unalived and everything with her, her marriage that didn't work out, her son trying to get himself together. Marie has shared a lot, but I feel like her people skills, her friendship skills, it's like kind of lacking because she goes off and she goes in and it's just hard to reel her back in. But y'all let me know y'all take on Marie. So then we have Marie saying everything is good and you can get it at this point. You gonna stop playing in my face. Just stop. I can't with you. Letitia says, okay, girl, let's run it. And Letitia says one thing for sure, and that is I've been told by a few bells that I give too much, talking about her personal life on screen. So I have nothing to hide. I signed up for reality TV, so here it is. And if it's really, I'm not hiding or running, nor am I scared of it. Go on with that seed. So I don't think that these two bells are really like beefing, but I think that when it comes to Latrice, Marie just gets so activated, and she was probably activated upon watching that scene, because if y'all did not watch the episode yet, it gets heated for sure. And then Letitia gave her apology, and then you see Marie slowly start to come down. But she said in her confessional, I don't know what it is. Latrice must got something on her. I don't think Latrice has anything on Letitia. But if anyone wanted to come up and let me know what you thought about these episodes, I have just dropped the link. Y'all are welcome. Thank you for kicking it with me. I felt like both of these episodes were good. Bell Collective has definitely been giving. If you've been watching my reviews, you know I've said I am enjoying Bell Collective more than I am the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I feel like with Bell Collective, with each season, it gets better and better. I don't know if the production, they're getting better at their job, or if the bells are just gelling more, getting more relaxed. But this show continues to improve, and I appreciate that. And then with Love and Marriage Detroit, again, I'm enjoying its season 1 way better than I did Love and Marriage DC season 1. The bells are giving. Yes. Oh, thank you, dear. I appreciate that. You are so sweet, Uppity. Yes, I try. I feel like with content creating, it's amazing how so many of us, we can all review the same show. And I feel like we all can bring about the recaps in our own way, in a different way. And I think that's why so many of the same people, they enjoy hearing about those same episodes from a variety of content creators, because we can all give, a different energy to it. So I appreciate that. Yeah, but if anybody doesn't feel like coming on up, I totally agree. I totally understand, I should say. And then you can enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening and see who else is going live. Yeah, because creativity, it could be the same content, but we could all put a different spin on it. So that's what's so awesome about it. Yes, well, I hope you all have a fantastic Monday. Sometimes Sunday nights give me some anxiety, like, oh my gosh, another work week, but it'll be all right. It always works out. So I hope y'all have a fantastic evening. It is still daylight, still got a few more hours of that. So if you want to get out, you can, or kick it, whatever you want to do. So thank you all for being here. Please hit the like button on this video. It will help me out so much. And I will talk with y'all soon. Bye.